I realize I'm way late to the party, but finding out today that Zico and Sanchez of the disastrous Unfuck America tour is doing a reality TV show on Amazon. I mean, I blocked her ages ago after I made a YouTube video criticizing the Unfuck America tour and debate bro culture in general. She got big mad about it and decided to say weird shit about me on a podcast. And I didn't know the first thing about this reality TV show. I just opened up my TikTok app and this was the first video that I saw.
I've been saying for well over a year now that a large number of political influencers are failed or aspiring entertainment figures who didn't make it in Hollywood, media, or traditional fame pipelines, so they pivoted to politics because it's easier to monetize outrage than talent. D. Cohen Sanchez, the leader of the Unfuck America tour, who said, verbatim, that she misses Charlie Kirk. Let me slow it down for you.
I miss Charlie.
I mean, to be fair, I guess I would also miss Charlie Kirk if my entire grift and livelihood depended on following him around too.
You should go watch that whole video because that creator talks about, I guess it's a Amazon show maybe called Party Lines. I think it's like Big Brother, but with political influencers. I don't know. I'm not going to watch it. But they bring up a really good point, and I kind of want to piggyback off of it a little bit, which is that your favorite political influencer may actually just be a failed actor who didn't make it through traditional avenues, and they thought they'd get famous and rich through political influencing. And you could say well, Angela, people do that in all kinds of different spaces, right? Somebody didn't make it in traditional acting, and they thought they would use their screen presence and their training to, I don't know, have a craft channel or a history buff channel or something like that. And I hear you, but I think when we're looking at politics, it's a little bit different because there is this terrible overlap, and I do think it's terrible, between independent journalism and social media political influencing. And I think that Rev Pop Pop has talked about this, Preacher from the Black Lagoon has talked about this before, that some of us on here consider ourselves political artists, some consider themselves activists, some consider themselves organizers, some journalists, and some just political influencers. But we all use the same platforms and we occupy the same spaces, but we don't all have shared ethics and values. And it can get really messy because journalists have a code of ethics that they're supposed to ascribe to, right? But there are a number of people who call themselves independent journalists on both sides of the political spectrum, but they don't adhere to those ethics, especially when it comes to taking money, when it comes to disclosure, who's influencing them. At some level, right, I consider myself an activist. At some level, though, we are all influencers because what we say influences people. And some of us have really, really big reaches, and people listen to us and they care about our opinions. And they like to think that we're informed, and they like to think that they are listening to somebody communicating their own organic opinion, not doing a performance because they want to be famous or because some dark money group is paying them to say something. When I first saw this video, actually, what I originally thought of was Brian Tyler Cohen, because he started out as an actor from 2012 to 2016. He was trying to get into film, right? And then that didn't pan out for him, so he decided to become a political influencer, and now is this big name in independent media, I guess, but doesn't ascribe to all of the same ethics as journalists with journalistic integrity. But nobody can tell where the line is because we don't have set codes of ethics. We don't have any requirements around disclosure of who is funding us, who is feeding us talking points, et cetera, et cetera. And I think it's a really big problem when you know that your audience is looking to you, expecting your own organic opinion. They have that parasocial relationship with you. They like to think that you are not selling them a line, that you are not being paid to influence them to believe a certain way, or that you're not just spewing shit you don't believe because you're trying to grift, right? And this kind of dovetails into something that my friend Priya was talking about, where we were both expressing a little bit of frustration around influencers who are in Minneapolis right now. When does it become exploitation, right? When is it that you're just dropping into a city where you have no organic connections? You're not talking up activist groups. You're not supporting local organizers and elevating the voices of the community, but you're dropping in to make content. You're making a shit ton of money. I think too many people who watch our content don't realize how much money can be made doing social media influencing, especially in the political sphere. Not really so much on TikTok anymore. I made $67 last month on TikTok. I don't make shit off of TikTok anymore, but I make a really good living off of YouTube. In the last year, I make a really good living. I don't I don't make any secret of that fact. I'm not struggling for the first time in my life, but I can look at how much I make. I can look at my analytics, and I can look at what other people's numbers are, and their influencers making, yeah. And I don't mind talking about money, right? Like if I make a video on a local activist, I give them revenue from my video. I have to pay my taxes out of it, but like, you know, if I'm focused on a local activist, I am making content about them. They deserve to have a share of that. If I'm making content and I talk up a specific organization, I'm then going to use proceeds from that video and donate it to that organization. But I think a lot of influencers don't want you to know how much they're making. They want you to just constantly be hit that thanks button, right? Donate, give them a tip, give them some more money. And I'm not saying that I'm better than other people, and I'm not saying that social media creators don't deserve to earn a good living, right? I work 7 days a week, 70 to 80 hours a week. I work my ass off, and I don't get a break like at all. And then I do a ton of local organizing work as well. But I do view my role in the resistance is using the platform that I have to educate people, to elevate causes, to help motivate people to take action. And then also because like I'm not broke for the first time ever. I have money to donate to things. Not everybody is going to be on the front lines willing to get arrested. Some of us are more use earning income that we can use to contribute to people's bail funds or to, you know, buy Stop the Bleed kits for our local medics down at the protest site, or donate to local immigrants' rights groups or organizations that are trying to feed hungry people and provide basic medical care where USAID has been gutted and removed. And I guess maybe I don't know exactly where I'm going with this video other than just to express some frustration at the lack of standards and the lack of ethics. Social media influencing, especially around politics, is very much the Wild West. And I often feel like I don't know what I'm doing because I've only been doing it for a year. I spent 10 years doing niche permaculture content and then happened to have a video go viral a year ago, basically. And that's when I realized like, oh, I actually have an obligation to use the reach that I have, the platform that I have to do the most good possible. But I think a lot of people are in it for other reasons. And again, I don't want to judge whether those reasons are pure because everybody has a right to make a good living. Not everybody who talks about political content needs to be like an activist or needs to be donating all their money to charity, but it's the same way that people would make videos in the run up to the election about what was happening in Palestine and then profit, huge amounts of profit off of those videos. Those videos would get crazy numbers of views. And then what was happening? People were pocketing all of that, right? So what are the ethics? What are the obligations when it comes to covering subjects or local events, right? You drop in somewhere, you make a shit ton of content, and then I think it was Good Trouble that said on one of Priya's videos, like he's using his platform as an influencer. He's like, I paid my own way and I'm using my platform as an influencer to raise awareness. That's not wrong. That's a good thing. We need to be drawing attention to what's happening. But at what level does it feel like you're exploiting these communities on the ground and not giving back to them? And again, like we don't have any ethics. We don't have any ethics around this. We don't have any code of conduct. We don't have any expectations of each other. And I feel like there is not very much incentive to have those conversations because we're all in it for different reasons. And people don't want to talk about how much money they're making. People don't want to talk about money at all. People don't want to talk about what organizations are funding them and who's paying them to say certain things. And I'm not saying that we should like post our pay stubs online, right? But at the same time, if you're listening to somebody whose goal is to become wealthy and famous, and they're talking about really important political issues, and you think it's their organic opinion, does it change it for you if you know that they don't donate to any of those causes, if they're not actually involved in any kind of activism other than just making content and, you know, depositing a check? I also wonder if I'm just not the only person who struggles with this as a creator. I don't expect everybody in political influencing to be some like radical permaculture person who's screaming about earth care, people care, and fair share all the time. I don't expect people who make political content to like give away every penny that they make. I don't expect us to all be in it for the same thing. I just feel like it's messy. It's so messy. One, it makes it really difficult without any transparency to know who to trust, what kinds of expectations to set, and then what are we obligated to do in terms of how do we do right by the communities and the people that we cover? I don't know. I would love your input.